Welcome,
Hi.
Thomas.
Hi, Ian. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Our special guest today on Gearhead Country in the Gearhead Country Garage is none other than Thomas Wade.
Howdy, neighbors.
This is not Mr. Rogers.
Okay.
Thomas,
My neighbor.
Thomas, you've got a lot of songs that talk about cars.
Yeah.
And I know you like cars. You've had many cars, and
It's true.
some which are probably in pieces. And
Yes, of course.
And
Some were in pieces. One got stolen, and that was no fun.
tell me a bit about your car fun growing up.
My car fun. Well, you know what? Actually, cars actually play a really big part in my life when I was a kid. My grandfather was a Class A mechanic, and our family was all about the car. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but particularly GM.
Yes, you can
We're
definitely
very
say
much
that.
a GM family.
It's the
and-
F word you're not really supposed to
Okay,
say.
well, that ain't gonna happen. Yeah. If you, whichever F word you mean, I won't say either one of them. Very much cars were a part of our lives, and my uncle was, in fact, I wrote the song 0 to 60 about my Uncle John, and he's still out there in a Cadillac somewhere.
Mm.
And but we used to live out in the dirt roads, and we did not drive dirt roads the way people do these days. It was like all or nothing, and it was just crazy.
The big cloud of dust.
Oh yeah, totally. And you think about it now, traveling along at that speed, rear-wheel drive car with like a lot under the hood, stuff like I remember one time. My uncle had this wasn't that old, 75 Coupe de Ville, and had like a 500 in it.
Mm-hmm.
And and we'd take that to the gigs sometimes, because we used to play in a band together called the Silver Wings. And I'll never forget how that used to feel, because he'd always drive way too damn fast. And he'd stomp it, and those four bells would kick in, right, and just like, it's just like being in a spaceship.
Yeah. And of course the Cadillac just would ride along like this. And
Oh yeah.
just float down the road.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like life is suspended around you. It's in this little bubble, and everything else going. Yeah. So cars have always been a big part of our lives. I've always had a love of, I really love cars of, the 60s, particularly, all the way up to about 1970. I've always been big into like Impalas or, the Strato Chief. I love the Strato Chief, and I still think one of these days I'd love to have one of those. I did at one time have a 64 something. Am I allowed to say that?
You can say that. You can
say that word. Okay, 64 Ford Fairlane.
Yeah.
And we both made a big impression on each other, a lasting impression, and no doubt the Ford Fairlane is part of something else.
As Jason McCoy says, I got the scars to prove it.
Yeah, I do have the scars to prove it. I can't do like the old, I'll never be able to do the old, take it down to the wood thing, because I got a great big one right here. It changed the shape of my head. 64 Ford Fairlane, going way too fast down one of said country roads, and going across a road back in my hometown. And it wasn't probably the best road to take for granted, because it was a great big hill, and it just so happened somebody was coming over that hill just as fast as I was going. And any physics major will tell you,
Yes.
that's not good. And so I got T-boned, and well, not quite T-boned. Hit me in the right or the left front quarter panel, and knocked me around about 3 times. And I dented the door. You know what those doors are like, right?
Yeah.
No seatbelts, of course.
Yeah.
In those days.
That would be silly.
Yeah, and pretty much, like the door's going to be pretty much
More or
like
less,
those, right?
yeah.
So you get that, but there's that big strip of metal on the top, right? And I dented the whole thing, and I dented the metal with my head. And yeah, that poor old car, it'll never be the same. Neither will I. It was a lot of fun though. I don't know what I was doing driving that car. That's just crazy, really, when you think about it. But it was fun.
Yeah. Good old days.
I got a good story out of it.
Yeah. And a good song.
Yes.
What are you going to play for us?
The wreck of the the wreck of the '64 Fairlane. Legend lives
What color was it?
It was red, two-tone, red and white.
It was big and it's red, and I should have been dead.
You got that right. You got that right, boy. That's a life-changing experience. Oh well, maybe it smartened me up.
Did it?
Well, I think so. It knocked something loose, and maybe it fixed me. Maybe that's how I write songs. Now I channel messages from the aliens.
All right, what are you going to play for us, Thomas?
Well, I think I'm going to try a little bit of 0 to 60.
Okay.
0 à 60, as they say, bilingual terms.
Not to be confused with Johnny Reed's song 60 to 0.
Of course not. It's the opposite of that, really. You see, mine's going faster.
One's going slow.
It's going slower. And this is for you, Uncle John, out there, still burning up the roads, staying away from...
Is Uncle John
Johnny
gone? Is he gone?
No, he's still around. Yeah, he's still kicking. He's still playing fiddle. He's a great fiddle player. He was, and he still is. And he's still out ripping up the highways. And I won't tell you his last name because I don't want John Law looking out for him.
Harry.
All right, here we go. Young and wild, first time at the wheel. It's like he was born to make a tire squeal. Pulled on the highway, pulled out the pass, hit the inside lane, and slammed on the gas. 0 to 60 in the blink of an eye. All just a blur as it blew on by. On a white line of blade runner, had to see how fast he could get. 0 to 60. Years went by like so many white lines, and life got lost in my moccasins. But he was going places never crossed his mind. Getting ahead, just leaving behind. 0 to 60 in the blink of an eye. All just a blur as the blue on by. On the white knight they run, just had to see how fast he could get. 0 to 60. Riding flat out in a long limousine. There's a big line of cars, but he's still in the lead. Oh, there's friends and family he never knew well, and dozens of roses he'll never smell. And if he could see it up, he'd see it all now. Life will pass you by if you don't slow down. 0 to 60 in the blink of an eye. All just a blur as the blue on by. On a white knuckle blade runner, just had to see how fast he could get. 0 to 60. 0 to 60.
the 60s, Thomas Wade, Gearhead Country.
Thank you kindly, sir.
You are very welcome. It's excellent. Excellent.
I gotta continue my vocal warm-up.
Thing is, I know all the lyrics to that. Ooh, I can sing
that's
along,
cool.
you know, just mouthing along.
Yeah, I was gonna need some help there once in a while. I only sing that once a year.